Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy spot! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast, episode number 38. And tonight I am joined by, as always, the great ProEnzo Vidz and the great Sam REVILL. I'll start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz, mate. Mate, it's good to see you once again. Hope you're doing well, mate. And, mate, first of all, how are you, bro? How you going?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well, actually. It's, I've been going pretty well as of late, great to be back on the podcast this week, obviously. Seems like everyone in the comments is pretty keen for it. So, and so am I. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Well, the chat right now is absolutely exploding, and you love to see it. We've got about 17 people here at the moment, and I'm sure that the viewers will there will be more people tuning in as the show goes on. And as always, Sam, mate, it's good to see you. How was your day, bro? And how the hell are you?
Yeah, you too, man. I hope you're doing well too, Nick. Lorenzo, you as well in chat. I hope you're doing really well. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a sticky old day down here in Canberra, but it's been a good one. Thank you again for having me, bro.
Well, I'm doing very well. Now, I just want to say real quick, before we came on to air, before you guys got into the green room, it was probably about 6:45 or something. I chucked in $5 into sports bet, right? And I chucked on this bet. I put $1.50 on a first four at Launceston on the horses there. Last race of the day there, and I thought, you know what? Let's just go for a little mega bingo sort of lotto sort of bet. Go a little bit wild. I put $1.50 on a first four for it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went bugger it. I'll back 1 and 2 as well because 1 was the favorite and 2 was like a $20 outsider. I put about $3 on that. Chucked it on. Watched the race, and as it comes towards the end, the order is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm looking at my phone on my bets, and I'm going, hang on a minute, what? I got the fucking first four, and I won myself $1,300 literally 20 minutes ago. So I'm a rich bastard right now. I'm actually cashed up. I'm pretty pumped. I just won myself about $1,300. So I'm in a great mood. I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. The podcast is going to be great tonight. The chat's going berserk. And, mate, and what a fucking start, man. Like, what a start to the night.
Launceston got voted the best town in all of Australia, I think, mate. It just became a little bit better in Nick's eyes, didn't it?
I think the Launceston, I think the Launceston horse race track is now the best in the country, I think.
Absolutely.
But in all seriousness, I'm doing very well, and I hope the chat's going well. I'm reading the chat right now. It's going absolutely berserk. Just Rugby League in the chat says the beers are on Nick. Yeah, if I buy everyone a beer, I'm going to have nothing left, especially the price of alcohol nowadays. But great win. But before we get into the podcast, make sure you guys go ahead and like the live stream. It's really important. There's 18 people watching the stream right now. Make sure you guys like the podcast. It's much appreciated as well. And as always, subscribe to the channel. Go and check out ProEnzo Vidz's YouTube channel and Sam REVILL's YouTube channel. The link will be in the description below as well. And if you want to donate to the channel, even though you probably don't need to now after what I just won, PayPal's available, and so is Super Chat. Nick will be stacking up on Maltese and cola. Yes and no. I've got a very expensive car thing to pay out, which is going to cost me about $700. So I'm glad I won that money because most of that's going towards the bloody car. I've got to pay for the rego and shit. So it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I'm pretty happy. But let's get into it, boys. Fair few things to get into tonight. A lot of things to bloody talk about. And we're going to start off, as always, with topic number 5, fellas. And it's a bit of a controversial one. Some people might have a different view on this. So, topic number 5, Dragons back rower Taumalolo Fuima'ano has been suspended for 5 games for a so-called hip drop tackle on Parramatta Eels winger Hayes Dunster. It happened on Sunday night in the trial game between Parramatta and St. George there at Combank Stadium. I see a lot of people have a different view on this. Some say hip drop. Some say it was an accident. Some say it wasn't even a penalty. There's a lot of different debates and arguments over this whole situation. I want to start with you first, Sam. Do you believe that this was a hip drop? Do you believe it was an accidental tackle that went too far? What are your entire thoughts on this Taumalolo Fuima'ano situation with Hayes Dunster? And also, hope Hayes Dunster's doing well. He got an ACL injury out of it. He's out for the year. Wish him all the best. But what do you think? What do you think about this whole situation?
Yeah, no, best wishes to Hayes Dunster for sure, man. No, Taumalolo Fuima'ano shouldn't be charged for that long. I imagine carryover points have helped the suspension be that long as well. If he was going to get charged, if I was in charge, I would have charged him at the lowest level, and he should have only copped maybe a game. But 5 weeks for something that was barely even a hip drop, I don't even think it was really, man. I think he's been hard done by.
So you think it was the wrong decision and the NRL got this one completely wrong?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well said. What about you, ProEnzo? Vidz, how do you feel about this whole situation between Fuima'ano and Dunster? Was it a hip drop or was it just an aggressive tackle that just didn't go right?
Yeah, I think it's just a tackle that went wrong, to be honest. I mean, I don't think anyone goes out there and intentionally does a hip drop for the time they're out on the
except
field.
Melbourne.
There's no intention. Except Melbourne, yeah. But I think I just think as well, it's unfortunate how it sort of happened because he was just trying to take Dunster to the ground, like trying to make a tackle, and I guess the way all the positioning he fell was just made it a bit awkward, and I guess that's why the referees probably took it as a lengthy, or NRL gave him a lengthy penalty for it because of how it may have ended Dunster's season, the tackle. So while I think he's been hard done by it, it's a bit unfortunate for how it's gone both ways.
Righto, get ready. If you got earphones in, you might want to turn the volume down. I'm not happy about this. We're gonna get into this. So, first thing I want to say is I hope Hayes Dunster is doing better. I wish him all the best, and I hope he gets well really soon. An ACL injury, an MCL injury, all in the one, from what I understand. It would be a terrible situation to be in. I hope he gets well really soon. But here is the problem. If anyone out there believes that Taumalolo Fuima'ano's tackle on Hayes Dunster was a hip drop, they would have to be the most blind, delusional motherfuckers I've ever seen in my entire life. You should go get some glasses from fucking the optometrist, for fuck's sake. There is no way in the world that Taumalolo Fuima'ano deliberately injured Hayes Dunster. Now, I know the NRL Match Review Committee say differently, but they are a bunch of fucking remote-controlled statues. They sit there in their fucking $10,000 expensive bunkers. They come up with all these dumb fucking decisions. There is no way in the world that you can tell me that was a hip drop. Now, Sam, I saw your Instagram story the other day. You posted a video clip of the Melbourne Storm doing a hip drop. That was much worse than what Taumalolo Fuima'ano did to Hayes Dunster. Now, the Melbourne Storm player didn't even get fucking charged for that situation. But yet, Taumalolo Fuima'ano, he came in, he put a tackle on, obviously didn't go the way that it should have went. It was not a hip drop. If you think it's a hip drop, you're a fucking idiot. You're a complete fucking idiot if you think it's a hip drop. Now, I know Parramatta fans have got the shits. Don't blame them. They lose an outside back. They probably get someone else an opportunity now. Someone else will get a chance like Sean Russell. Someone else will get a run now. But there is no way that this was a hip drop. It was a fucking disgrace, a fucking embarrassment to the game. And you're gonna charge him 5 weeks.
Yeah.
5 fucking weeks for something that you can't even clarify. What is a hip drop? Now, Sam, your Instagram story video was brilliant because you had the Melbourne Storm one, you had the Taro Fuimano one. They're so different. They're so different on so many levels. There's no similarities there. So, with all due respect to anyone out there that has a different opinion, if anyone believes that Taro Fuimano's so-called hip drop on Hayes Dunster was intentional, then I think you're a complete fucking dead shit. There is no way it was a hip drop. No way in the world.
Loved it, mate. I agree with everything you've just said, mate. You put that brilliantly. Thanks for the shout out. But yeah, no, he shouldn't have been suspended at all, mate. It was just a complete accident. I think what happened is that he sort of caught himself in midair. He felt himself losing the momentum in the tackle because Hayes Dunster is such a big bugger. And then I think Fuimano must have put his foot down and went, nah, not happening now. But then it just all went to hell in a handbasket. And yeah, I mean, the rumor now is that Zarko might be linked with, or Zarko's linked with Parramatta. So watch that space.
The Broncos will be more than happy to let him go because he's going to the Dolphins next year. So I guess it makes sense. If Jermaine Sucker goes to Parramatta, I'm sure he'll do a job on the wing for the Eels. I mean, it's only going to be temporary because Sivo's out to mid-year. They got Simonson there. Wagga Blake's in the centres with Penasini. I guess he got Opacek and Sean Russell as well, fighting their way to try and get in. I'm assuming Sean Russell's going to get a run. I was talking to Entertain Us the other night about it, and he seems to think Sean Russell will probably come in for Dunster now. But the whole situation's a mess. But when you boys watch the tackle, do you see any sign of a hip drop at all in the tackle at all?
No.
Not really.
ProEnzo? No? Nah, me either. I think the NRL really fucked up again. I'm not surprised. They needed to get rid of the match review committee, get some guys in there that know what the rules are inside and out, get people in there that actually make sense. At the moment, it looks like guys that are just drunk with power and they just don't know what they're doing. They can't keep up with the game. It's an absolute disgrace. So, and I was listening to Bray Finasco on Fox the other day. He was like, he's got history of this Taro Fuimano where he did that late shot on Pappenhausen at Magic Round last year and all that. But
different tackles,
man. Like late shot, so-called hip drop, big difference. It was an aggressive tackle. It was a complete accident. Both players feel bad about it. I feel sorry for Taro Fuimano. Mentally, I hope he's doing okay, bro, because 5 weeks for something that was an accident, it will definitely hurt you mentally. So I hope he's doing okay. 5 weeks for an accident is a fucking disgrace. Let's move on before I fucking lose it again over this whole situation. Now, well, I probably am about to lose it with this next topic. This is making me laugh, this one. Topic number 4. Oh, boy. The West Tigers. You know, just when you think they look like they're starting to turn things around, they just find a way to fuck it up again. West Tigers have named 5 captains for the 2022 NRL season. Luke Brooks, Adam Dewey, James Tarmo, Ken Mamalo, and Tyrone Peachy. I will probably rant on this, but I'm going to start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz. What do you think about this decision from the West Tigers naming 5 captains? Is it good? Is it dumb? Who would you have named captain? Please let us know, ProEnzo. The floor is yours.
I really think it's a bad call. I don't think it's good at all. I think when you're a club, you definitely only need 1 captain, not 5. You know, I guess the issue now for Tigers is that there's no real main leader there. Like, there's no one that other players can go and look up to because there's always because it's about 5 and it's just it doesn't look right for a club like them to have. I mean, of course, Tigers have made some fucked up things in the past, so I'm not surprised that they have done this. But again, it's not needed to have 5 captains. I think the only captain they should have had is Adam Dewey, to be honest, because
something.
I think it's a bad call.
I've seen some dumb things in my time when it comes to teams naming captains and shit. But fuck me, this one right here. This one's got to be up there for sure. When I look at the West Tigers, I'm looking for a captain. I'm looking at Tarmo, but he's past his best and he's getting older. I'm looking at Luke Brooks, whose career has been a disappointment. I'm looking at Ken Mamalo. A winger's not a captain. Come on, bro. Tyrone Peachy's not a captain as well. Adam Dewey should be the captain. I know he's not back to round 10, but Adam Dewey should be the captain of the West Tigers. Are these guys fucking stupid? The last good captain that was a winger was Luke Burt. Fucking hell. 5 captains. What a load of crap. So, when the Tigers go for a captain's challenge, what's going to happen? You're going to have Taumalolo going over, yeah, we'll challenge that right now. We will challenge right now. And then you're going to have fucking Tyrone Peachy. No, don't challenge. Ken Mamalo off the wing. Yeah, challenge it. Luke Brooks, yeah, no, don't challenge it. Adam Dewey tells them all to get fucked. Oh, my God. Sam, what do you think about this whole thing? What a mess.
Ken Mamalo as captain, look, he's a very good player on his day, mate, but as a captain at a brand new club, no. Tyrone Peachy, I don't think he's ever been a captain in his career, maybe once for Penrith when it was State of Origin affected. But again, Tyrone Peachy can just be a natural leader in the forwards or even in the backs without being captain. Luke Brooks, man, I don't want to continue railing on Luke Brooks, man, but I mean, no, he's not a captain material, mate. He goes missing in games when the pressure is really, really on, man. And then James Tarmo just was injury affected all year last year, wasn't he? But that's not a vote of confidence for him to now be surrounded by 4 other men as potential captains as well, because he obviously didn't do the job that Michael Maguire asked of him to do well last season. So yeah, as Lorenzo said, there's no real leaders out there at West Tigers besides Adam Dewey, who's gone for the first quarter of the season. So yeah, West Tigers, as far as the leadership goes, man, they're in a bit of a rubble, aren't they?
If anyone on this planet thinks that Ken Mamalo is going to be a good captain, well, I might as well go eat some pancakes with some grass from Nimbin on it. I mean, fuck me. Who would want to fucking say that? Ken Mamalo was captain. I might go get a fucking mop and then just shove it in the swamp and then just drink it up in a glass of juice. Fuck me, man. Like, how fucking ridiculous is this? Ken Mamalo was captain. Good grief. Ken Mamalo as captain was that bad. Like, it's that bad of an idea. It's honestly, it's laughable, bro. He couldn't even be a captain at the Warriors. How the fuck is he going to be captain of the Tigers? I mean, I know the Warriors had 2 of us to check and all, but Mamalo wasn't even in the Warriors' top 3 guys for captain. Oh, this is so stupid.
Yep.
Stupid. Yep. 5 captains for a club that has failed miserably since 2011. But they're going to name 5 captains. Really? Also, hang on. You're going to have 5 captains, right? Brooks, Dewey, Tama, Mamalo, Peachy. Well, you're going to have them 5 as captain. All right. Where's Jackson Hastings? He should be in that list. If he's going to be, if you're going to have 5 captains, Hastings should be in there. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, don't put the pressure on Jackson Hastings." Well, he's a great leader, bro. You let Hastings is going to run the Tigers this year, from what I understand. So you make him the captain. You make the Dragons did it with Ben Hunt. When Ben Hunt became captain, everyone was like, "Oh, bad idea, bad decision." And look what it did to Ben Hunt. It made him a better player. Hastings is gone to the Tigers, and he's there to resurrect his NRL career. And I think he should be in this top 5 for captaincy.
Like, for me, there's no questioning that Jackson Hastings would relish as captain. I think he'd welcome it. But let the bloody bugger play at least half a season first before you put the C next to his name, man. Like, just let him settle into it first. But the question too is, right, is it Michael Maguire or is Tim Sheens, who the West Tigers asked to come back to the club? Is this Tim Sheen's idea, man? Is this
no way?
Is this the first step, or is this the first idea from the Messiah Tim Sheens to put 5 captains onto the West Tigers game day squad, man? Because if it is, man, it's weird, man. So
it's definitely magic, bro, because
it doesn't feel like Tim Sheens, does it?
It's not Tim Sheens. Tim Sheens would name 1 captain. That was it. That's what he did back when he was coaching. Tim Sheens had 1 captain. That was it. End of story. Michael Maguire, different story. I mean, 5 captains in a 13-on-13 aside game is so fucking dumb. Like, who's going to be the one making the decisions for goal kicking? Who's going to be the one making the decisions for the captain's challenge? All that. Like, come on, man. Maguire, I know he tried it in the past and it didn't work. I can't remember what year it was. Might have been 2 or 3 years ago he tried it and clearly did not work. So this is set up to be a complete failure and a disaster, man. It's going to suck.
Could I throw out another one as well, man?
Yeah,
and this isn't something I've been sitting on. It's just a random one. What about someone young like Luke Garner that made his debut for the club? And he's been a really solid second rower for him. He's been hampered by injuries for the past couple of seasons, but he'd be a better option than Ken Mamalo. He'd be a better option than Tyrone Peachy, who's brand new to the club. Alex Twal as well, man. So, yeah, it's a really strange decision, bro.
Yeah. ProEnzo, anything else you want to talk about on this topic before we move on?
I'll just say, yeah, I think Twal's a fair shout, like Sam said. I think Twal is a good call.
Twal and Garner, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. All right, let's move on. Topic number 3. More controversy. Go from one controversial topic to another one. Topic number 3. Latrell Mitchell's suspension has been shortened a week. Is that a fair call, boys? Also, should Brandon Smith and Reece Walsh be allowed to return early as well? Now, Latrell Mitchell was supposed to be returning in round 3 against the Roosters. The All-Star game has apparently counted as one of the weeks where he's been suspended. Latrell will now return in round 2 against the Melbourne Storm down there at Amy Park. We'll start with Latrell first. Should Latrell Mitchell be allowed to play in round 2, or should he have waited for round 3? I'll start with you first, ProEnzo. Vidz, what do you reckon, bro?
Well, I think now that I think about it, him missing that All-Stars game makes sense to be counted to a suspension of fees. I think that's probably a good choice because I think that's, if he misses that game, then I think, that should count as a suspension on his tally. That's just in my opinion. Yeah, but still, I don't know. I don't get the reasoning behind him losing at least one game or coming back a game back early, I should say. I don't really get that too much, but anyway, it's a weird system. I've got to say, that's all I've got to say. Yeah, but look, at least he's done his time, so he should be back soon.
What do you reckon, Sam? Should he have been allowed to come back in or should he have stayed out to round 3, or should he be allowed to play round 2? What do you reckon?
I think he should have played in round 3. I don't think this should have gone ahead. And I think from now on, the judiciary, the NRL, man, this will now count. If you're suspended and you want to play in the NRL All-Stars sort of thing, it'll count and deduct from your suspension or whatever. That's fine. That's fine. But to confuse the matter halfway through the season, they had 3 or 5 months to think about this, the NRL. Yep. 5 months to think about this, the judiciary system. And midway through, they've absolutely buggered it. I would have personally said, look, we understand and respect what you're saying, South Sydney, but Latrell's going to cop this. But from now on, we're going to count this NRL All-Stars game as a big game, like a State of Origin or something like that. I hope that made sense.
I don't understand this one bit. I don't think Latrell Mitchell should have even been allowed to play round 2. He should be coming back in round 3. The suspension originally was round 3. Back in round 3 against the Roosters. That should be the game. We spoke about this during the off-season, boys. We said, should Latrell Mitchell be exempt? Should he have should he have some sort of exemption to come back early? And we all said no, he should serve his time to round 3. So apparently the All-Star game is just a trial game, right? Although I reckon it's more than a trial game. So they're going to count a game that's not even an NRL game as a suspension game. So if that's the case, that doesn't make sense to me because apparently the All-Star game is just a friendly trial game. I'm very confused with this whole situation. I think Latrell Mitchell should come back in round 3. He should not be allowed to come back in round 2. That's absolutely bullshit. But with all due respect, they're playing Melbourne in round 2, so good luck anyway. But I think Latrell Mitchell should not be allowed to come back in round 2. I think round 3 is what it was originally set for, and I think they should have kept their word and kept their decision and said, no, you're back round 3, no exemptions, that's it. Should not be allowed to come back early. I don't care who you are. Should not be allowed to come back early. It's just crazy. Now, the other thing I will go on off as well, Brendan Smith and Reece Walsh, they both got caught doing cocaine in the off-season. Should they be allowed to come back in round 1? Should they be allowed to come back early as well? Because think about it, both of these guys probably would have played the All-Star game as well. Should they have been allowed to play? Should they be allowed to come back in round 1? I'll start with you first, Sam. What do you reckon?
Fuck no. Fuck no, man. Latrell got suspended for a high shot, and these guys got busted for drugs, man. This is a seriously dangerous precedent that they clearly didn't think about well enough, the judiciary system in the NRL, by now making the NRL All-Stars game a suspendable game that you can get charged over and miss and whatnot. It's awful, man. And have some fucking dignity, Brandon Smith, bro. Have some dignity, Reece Walsh. Don't fucking ask for a game because... Oh, man, it's just such a shitstorm, isn't it, man? It's fucking embarrassing, dude.
It is embarrassing. They got caught taking cocaine, and who knows how long they were doing it. The problem with them is they got caught. And, look, I said this in the off-season as well. They were very, very lucky to get 1 week. Brendan Smith, Reece Walsh, they got 1 week. They were very lucky. Yet, on the other hand, Bronson Xerri, he got caught. He got fucking 4 years. So what's the difference between?
The difference is that he was taking performance-enhancing supplements and whatnot, not cocaine. But I get what you're saying. You're splitting hairs, aren't you?
It should all count as drugs. All drugs that get caught should all be fucking couple-year bans, 2 to 4 year bans. No fucking exemption, no excuse. I know nowadays a lot of players take those. I don't know what they call them. You know, when you go to the gym and they have these drinks or there's energy drinks, and they can be a bit sus here and there, and you know, you might go get a random drug test and you might come back with something positive, and you're going, I don't do drugs. I'll go to the gym and I take this drink, but I didn't know it had drugs in it. And then next minute, you know, you're copping a big fine and a big ban. So this whole situation is a complete mess. Now, I'm with you, Sam. The audacity that Brandon Smith and Reece Walsh, the audacity of them to ask the NRL, well, can we come back a week early if, you know, we can't play the All-Star game? They got caught taking drugs. Drugs is drugs. You should be fucking fined and suspended and be out longer than 1 week, like I've said before. But, oh, it's so fucking ridiculous.
But through the NRL's mucking about, man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, man. It would now be technically unfair for Brandon Smith and Reece Walsh's request to be denied from the NRL by the NRL. So is there now some sort of favoritism now towards... That's what they've done to themselves now. If they deny Brandon Smith and Reece Walsh, they're going to put themselves into the spotlight of, well, you're just favouring Latrell Mitchell to try and get him back into the game. And everyone was already looking forward to him returning against Eastern Suburbs anyway, man. That was going to be a huge game that's now sort of lost a little bit of shine. Bit of shine. So, yeah, dude, this is awful stuff from the NRL. Bad leadership.
Paddy G in the chats. Paddy G in the chat says players aren't asking, it's the clubs. Well,
still, man. Well, no, Brandon Smith put out a tweet, didn't he, or an Instagram saying, "Hey, Larry, do you reckon?" Yeah, Brandon Smith responded. He's put his own personal feelings out there. He would have asked the club to ask on his behalf. For sure, man.
Even if the players don't want to, you know, even if it is the clubs, the players should be saying, look, man, I got caught. I did the wrong thing. I don't think I should be playing, man. I should cop my 1 week and learn from it and move on. I don't think whether it's the players or the clubs, to be honest, I don't really give a fuck which one it is. It's a very low act from the Warriors and the Storm to all be involved and say, no, I want to. If Brandon Smith and Reece Walsh are fair income blokes, if they're literally fair income, then Why would you fucking, if they're fair income, they will cop their fucking suspension and they will sit out the first game. But no, I want to go on social media and say, oh, look, maybe I should be allowed to play if Trell can come back early. The difference is Latrell Mitchell was a high tackle. Smith and Walsh were drugs. In my opinion, drugs are a lot worse. So the whole situation's a complete debacle. It's a complete mess. ProEnzo, Vidz, what's your take on it, bro? The whole thing needs to be the whole thing's a mess.
I think Sam just took most of the words out of my mouth, actually. So there's not really much for me to add anymore. But I will say that doing drugs is worse than what Latrell did. So obviously, because it's a illegal substance, isn't it? So you shouldn't be. I think if anyone that takes that, especially an NRL player, their suspension should be lengthy. They should cop a lot more. And it is a bit stupid for Smith and Walsh to be making that request to the NRL about getting their suspension deducted when there's no point, because what they've done is wrong and it's more worse and a bit more life threatening, I suppose, than you can say as well. So yeah, it's just not right what they're doing.
I can just see in the chat a few people are giving Paddy G a bit of a spray about the Broncos. I see it's for you, Faraz, bro. Paddy G has his opinion on teams that are going to go well this year. You have yours as well. I don't want to see the chat get into a bit of an argument over one team this year going to do this or one team going to do that. Everyone in the chat who has a different opinion, that's fine. I just don't want people to leave the live stream due to people disagreeing. But everyone's got their own opinion on the situation, so I don't want it to get out of control. Just putting it out there. But look, the last thing I will say on this, and it might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to say this once, and I stand by saying this. Any NRL player that gets caught taking drugs of any kind, I don't care if it's performance enhancing, I don't care if it's cocaine, I don't care what it is. Any players that take drugs, they need to be banned for fucking 2 to 3 years. I don't give a shit what the situation is. If you get caught taking drugs, or if you get caught doing enhancing drugs, fine them and suspend them for fucking 2 years. I do not care what anyone says. It's not needed in the game. Let the players be at their best, because I'm so sick and tired of seeing players come out and get caught doing drugs. It's just not on. It's not on. The game's better.
Nick, I just want to say one more thing as well, man. South Sydney didn't do the wrong thing by asking initially. They were just asking out of curiosity, and if they got denied, I'm sure they just would have copped it. They would have copped it fair. So I don't want to put it out there or have it seem like that we're hating on South Sydney and Latrell Mitchell as well, man. I don't dislike Latrell Mitchell or South Sydney for asking or whatever, man. They just put the question out there and they rolled the dice and it came up trumps for him, man. So they got lucky. But yeah, I think it is bad that now the Warriors and the Storm, Brandon Smith in particularly, have latched onto this idea, and it's because of the stupidity of the NRL and the judiciary system.
They've all gone mad. But let's move on now to topic number 2. Oh boy. Now, I read this today and I almost fainted when I read this. Topic number 2. Fox Sports commentator Corey Parker has come out and said that the Cowboys should move Jason Taumalolo on. I don't even know where to begin with this. I read the article. I almost threw up. I knocked off work. I wanted to puke. I didn't feel too good. I lost my lunch reading this. I don't know what Corey Parker's been doing in the off-season. I've got absolutely no idea what he's been doing. I don't know if he's got amnesia or he's upset about the 2015 Grand Final still. I don't know what it is. But Corey Parker reckons the Cowboys need to move on Jason Taumalolo. This is one of the craziest things I've ever read on all of NRL. I don't even know what he's talking about. I think he's lost his mind. I'll start with you first, Sam, as a passionate Cowboys supporter. According to Corey Parker, should the Cowboys move Taumalolo on?
No! Corey Parker's a good commentator. I like
He
Corey
is.
Parker. So this is so strange for him to come out and say, because he usually backs the players. But as we sort of spoke about in the green room, Jason Taumalolo, yeah, he's probably going to be shifted out into the prop position because
Good.
he needs to change his game, because the game has changed as well. But to say that the game's moved beyond him and that he should be cut, dude, man, that's way off the mark. That's so off the mark, it's funny.
If Corey Parker reckons that Taumalolo shouldn't be on the Cowboys, shouldn't be playing for the Cowboys anymore, should move on somewhere else, the Cowboys would be dead last. We wouldn't even win 5 games. We would be so bad. We would be diabolical. And now I know he's had his injuries in the last 12 months. He hasn't been able to stay on the field longer than a full week period. I know it's been a little bit of a concern, but move him into the front row this year is going to be interesting, and I think he'll be fine, man. He's just got to, at training, he's just got to have some barbed wire tapped up, maybe some cotton tips, just cotton wool. Don't let him do anything crazy at training. But I don't know what the fuck Corey Parker's been doing. Like you, Sam, I think he's a great commentator, but he's definitely off the ball on this one. What about you, ProEnzo? Vidz, I know you're a Manly fan, and I know you probably don't care too much about what Parker has to say about this, the Cowboys thing, but do you think that Taumalolo should move on from the Cowboys, or do you think he should stay there for the rest of his career?
No. They should not be on at all. I mean, that's a stupid make. What? I mean, he's their most important player, or arguably their most important player. So doing that, it's going to ruin the whole club, I reckon. I don't know if it's just Parker being a former Broncos player, just taking a typical sort of swipe at the Cowboys. I don't know if that's what it really is, but he's take on the Cowboys wanting to, like, Cowboys should let go of Taumalolo is a very bad call. I agree. It's a stupid take by him. I don't hate him either, but yeah, it's wrong for him to say. I cannot agree with that at all.
I love Corey Parker. I think he does a great job on Fox Sports. I think on the sideline, he does a very good job as a sideline commentator. But this take is absolutely crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. Now, I know he's a Bronco. I know he played for him his whole career, and I know Broncos players and fans don't necessarily like the Cowboys, which I completely understand. But Taumalolo, he's a Cowboy for life. He's on big money. He'll be there for the rest of his career. This is just a complete bullshit take from Corey Parker.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a bit of clickbait, isn't it? That's all it is. Just a bit of clickbait.
From Fox, probably got nothing to do during the week. Probably bored out of their mind. But Corey Parker, you've lost the plot on this one. But in saying that, Corey Parker will probably say something tomorrow that will make sense, and I'll be on his side. So
yeah,
who the hell knows? But good Lord. Let's get into the topic number 1, boys. Now, this is one that I'm really keen to see what you guys think about this one. Topic number 1. Now, I've read the post today, and I thought, why not bring it on the show as a bit of a topic? Topic number 1. Should the NRL bring back Monday Night Football? And if so, what fixture and time slot for a different day would you remove for Monday Night Football? I want to start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz. Should they bring back Monday Night Football? And if they do, or if they did, what time slot fixture over the weekend or even on a Friday would you remove?
Look, it's a tough one for me because I liked watching it for the time that it was on when it was on Monday night. But at the same time, it's a bit hard for some people who are going to come off work and stuff like that to be back at home in time to watch the game, or for themselves to attend the game as well. So that's why they probably removed it from Monday in the first place, because of work and other commitments and stuff like that. But if it was to be back, I would remove. How there's normally 2 Sunday games. I would remove one of them, like the early 2:00 game, and only have the one 4:00 game, like which is obviously the main game, and make that the Monday instead. That's what I would do. But I'm keen to hear what you think about that.
Wow. What about you, Sam? Should they bring back Monday Night Football? And if they did, what fixture and time slot would you remove?
No, not me personally. Not until they bring in an 18th team where an extra game will be added to the weekly fixtures, and then we can start talking turkey about Monday night footy. It was nice while it was on Monday, but and would welcome it. Like there's a public holiday, Queen's birthday clash happening this year, and then maybe one other game. So maybe twice a year for the next few years, and then when an 18th team may eventually be injected into the game, then we'll start talking turkey about full-time Monday night fixtures. But for right now, no, I wouldn't, man.
I'm just reading the chat. I see probably about 90% of the chat would not bring back Monday Night Football, which is quite interesting. For me, I would bring back Monday Night Football. I'd love to see it back. Now, when I was a kid, when I was a younger fella back in high school and shit, I was not a fan of school. I did not like school. I dropped out at at the first part of year 12. I hated school, and going to school on the Monday was shit, but at least I could look forward to Monday Night Football that night at 7 o'clock, which I used to really enjoy. Now, I like Monday Night Football, but I only like it on a couple of terms and conditions. So, number one, you've got to play Monday Night Football at the right venue. You can't have it on a Suncorp Stadium. You can't have it at somewhere that's going to be impossible to get a crowd. Monday Night Football would only work in Canberra, Newcastle, some areas of Sydney, like probably work at Campbelltown. It'd probably work in Cronulla. It'd probably work in those areas. It'd probably even work on the Gold Coast as well. Those areas, it would work. It would not work in other areas. Now, I think Monday Night Football would be very good. I think it would be a lot of fun. It obviously wouldn't work in New Zealand because it'd be a 7 o'clock time. It'd be 9 o'clock. That'd be way too late. What fixture would I remove? Well, I would remove the Friday 6 o'clock time slot because, look, we talk about everyone works normally every day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 5. Whatever you're doing, or you're going to school 9 to 3. Getting to a game in Sydney, especially at ANZ Stadium or at Bankwest Stadium, at a Friday 6 o'clock is very, very hard to get to. Very hard to get to. Now, if you have a Monday night game at 7, everyone finishes work at 5. It gives you that 2-hour gap that you can still get to a game if you need to. So, I think Monday Night Football would only work in Newcastle. It would work in Canberra. It'd work at West Tigers' home ground. It would work in the Shire. And it would probably work in Penrith as well. It wouldn't work anywhere else. Gold Coast, it could. But I wouldn't take Monday Night Football to Townsville. I wouldn't take it to Melbourne. Oh, Melbourne maybe, because Melbourne's, it's pretty easy to get around in Melbourne, from what I understand. But if it were to come back, I would bring it back and I'd get rid of the Friday 6 o'clock game. So my fixture would be Thursday night, 7:50. Friday night, 7:50, Saturday, 3 o'clock, Saturday, 5:30, Saturday, 7:30, and then I'd go, Sunday, 2 o'clock, Sunday, 4 o'clock, and Monday night at 7 p.m. I think it could work if they did it.
Did you guys used to like on the Friday night, on the old Friday night footy, where there'd be a delayed game and it'd kick off at 9:30 and then it'd just be footy until midnight? I liked that, man. I'd bring that back.
I remember as a kid, because I live in New South Wales, if there was 2 games, I'd say, for example, I don't know, the Cowboys up against the Titans in Townsville, and say, I don't know, the Dragons up against the Eels or something. They would show the Dragons-Eels game live in New South Wales, the Cowboys and Titans game live in Queensland. 7:30, you'd watch the Dragons-Eels game live, and then once that game was over, turn your fucking phone off, don't go on social media, and at 9:30, you'd watch the Cowboys game, the second game, and to you, it would feel like it's a live game, even though it's a replay, and it's a replay, but you don't know the result. Obviously, it wouldn't work nowadays because of the technology and social media and shit like that, but fuck, man, they were the good old days, weren't they? They used to be a lot of fun. I remember I used to go to the club with my mum and dad or whatever, and would go out and would watch the first game live on Channel 9 there. It'd be 7:30 kickoff or something. It'd be, say, I don't know, St. George versus the Roosters or, West Tigers versus Canterbury or something. And then we would leave as that game's about to end. We'd get back home, turn on the telly. Oh, yeah, it's the Broncos versus the Tigers at Suncorp Stadium. It's the replay. yeah, it's the Cowboys versus the Broncos. You know, they were the good old days, weren't they? Weren't they, lads? They were good, weren't they?
Enjoyed it. Yep.
I wish I could go back in a time machine and just experience it one more time. It was that good. It was that good. But in all seriousness, Monday Night Football, I guarantee you it will return when we get an 18th team. I guarantee you we will. I promise you. Now, I don't mind the Friday 6 o'clock fixture because I never work that late. So it's a lot of fun for me because I'm already finished work. I'm sitting up. I'm enjoying myself. I got the Coca-Cola ready. I got the fucking, the cheese toast is ready to go. I got some chips in the cupboard ready to go for the Friday night doubleheader. But they were the good old days. And the intros as well, just like the chat's saying right now, the old intros. How good were they as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, ProEnzo? The good old days, eh? The back-to-back, games and shit. Friday night.
No, I love that. From memory, I love that a lot. So I'd love to see that again.
I'll tell you what, though, before we move on, I hated the Sunday game because it was live at 3 o'clock, but it wouldn't come on to Channel 9 until 4 o'clock. So it already been an hour into it. I used to hate that shit. So 3 o'clock, the game would be live on TV. Well, not on TV. The game would be live, but then you turn on Channel 9. They got the pre-show at 3:30. Game starts at 4. By the time you turn the game on live on Channel 9, it's already been halfway through it. So it give you the shit. So I used to hate it.
Yeah.
I used to hate
I'm with you too, man. Yeah, I hated it too,
fucking
man.
Hated it, I fucking hated it. So when Sunday football for me was back in the day, I loved the first game, the 2 o'clock game, because that was always live. That was never delayed. I used to love that. And I guess that's the reason why Super Saturday is my favorite fixture, because all 3 games are live on Fox. Always have been. No bullshit replays, except if you had the viewer's choice back then, which was also another entertaining
That was
thing.
sick. Yeah,
the
man.
Choice was awesome, wasn't it? You press the red button. Oh, what game do you want to watch, boys? You want to watch the Panthers up against the Sharks? Or do you want to watch the fucking Warriors and the Cowboys? What do you want to watch? Press the red button now to pick a game. And then you can flick in and out of games. Oh, here we go. Saturday night blockbuster, round number 20. It's the Panthers in 2nd against the Warriors in 7th. Or we got a top of the table clash. The first place Dragons and the second place Tigers back in the 2010 days. The good old days, boys. How fucking good was it?
So good. They were so good. And this weekend, maybe you can work this in as a segue, Nick, but there's 4 games on Saturday this weekend, isn't there?
I'm going to have a very hard time getting this fucking schedule for the weekend because the Charity Shield is a game that I take very seriously, and I plan on doing separate reviews for the Charity Shield game. But by the time that game, man, it's the Cowboys-Broncos game is about to fucking start, man. Like, fuck.
Oh, you won't have time to scratch yourself, bro.
I'm going to have to do a fucking full review for 4 games on Saturday. So if the late night show happens this weekend, it'll be Friday night at like 11 p.m. It'll be fucking late if we do the late night show this weekend because Saturday is going to be impossible. Saturday is impossible. Saturday is just stacked.
But that's great. It's stacked. It's great.
Friday night will have to be if we do the late night show, which we'll talk about off air later on. It has to be Friday night because Saturday is just impossible. Absolutely impossible. All right. Now they're all the topics out of the way, fellas. Now let's get into the let's get into the trial games this weekend while we're on the topic. So we're going to go through the games this weekend. The NRL trial game preview for week 2. The last week of the trials before the NRL season gets underway again. Now we're going to get into the trial games, and I just want to mention real quick, we're going to do a separate preview on the Charity Shield game. So I'm going to leave that game out. So we're going to preview the other 7 games. So let's go to the first one. All I want from you fellas is tell me who's going to win and tell me by how much. So Friday night, 6 o'clock at Central Coast Stadium, the Manly Seagulls versus the Canberra Raiders. ProEnzo Vidz, I know it's your boys, Manly versus Canberra. Who wins this one and by how much?
Yeah, I'll go Manly to win by about 10 points. And if I want to add in a try score just quickly as well, I think Olakawasi will score if he plays.
What about you, Sam? Who wins this one, Manly or Canberra?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the team list, so going in blind on these tips, bro. But I'm going to back Manly as well up there in Gosford, and I'll get them to win by 13 plus, approximately 16 points.
I'm going to go Manly by 14. I think they'll be too good. I think most teams will play majority of the big name players now with the last trial games this weekend. So I'm going to go Manly by 14. I reckon they'll beat Canberra on Friday night. And the other game on Friday night it's also at the Central Coast Stadium. It's a doubleheader at the Central Coast. It's the Sydney Roosters up against the West Tigers, 8:10 on Friday night. Sam, who wins this one and by how much between the Roosters and the Tigers? Who you got in that one?
Roosters easily, mate. But I understand that Luke Keary will not be lining up this weekend anyway. But I think Tedesco will be. There's a chance. But yeah, I'm going to tip Roosters to win by 13 plus.
What about you, ProEnzo Vidz? Roosters or Tigers, and by how much?
Roosters, and they'll win by about 20 points, I think. Too good.
I'll go the Roosters by 8. Only because it's a trial. Roosters by 8. Might be a tighter game than what we think. Saturday afternoon, the next trial game. Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock up at Moreton Daily Stadium there at Redcliffe. It's the New Zealand Warriors up against the Gold Coast Titans. Now, this is tough for me. You know, you've got Ash Taylor and the Warriors up against the Titans, who I hate. So I don't know which way to go here. But Warriors versus Titans. ProEnzo, who wins this one and by how much?
Yeah, it is tough. But look, I will tip Warriors by about 4 points. I'll just get on top of the Titans, and yeah, they'll win just.
What about you, Sam Revel? Who wins this one?
Yeah, Warriors have been training in Moreton Daily Stadium for bloody 5 odd months now, man. So they're very accustomed to it. I'm going to tip the Warriors actually to win in 1-12.
Now it's funny though because this fixture last year, this fixture was live at Oaks Oval here in Lismore, where I attended Titans and Warriors game. So the 1 year anniversary, you should have came back to Lismore, you fucking assholes, Warriors and Titans, bunch of pricks. Should have came back, but it's pretty much the Ash Taylor Cup, isn't it, boys? Isn't it? Ash Taylor Cup this weekend. I'm gonna go. I'll tell you what. The Titans had a draw in that trial game against Brisbane, and they had a draw last year when they played here in Lismore. I'm going to go for another draw.
Oh, we did it. You did it. That's fine. That's a fine tip, sir.
Titans had a draw with the Warriors last year in a trial game, and Titans had a draw against the Broncos last weekend. The Titans are going to be the first team in NRL preseason history to have back-to-back draws in both their trial games. So I'm going for it. I'm going for a 20-all draw.
Fair enough.
Respect.
Because 1, fuck Ash Taylor at the Warriors, and 2, fuck the Titans. So I'm going for a draw. Now let's get to the next one, which is Saturday, 5 o'clock at Bluebet Stadium, which is what I like to call Penrith Park. Panthers Eels should be a good one. This one, pretty big game. Both sides are probably going to be very strong, I'm assuming. Penrith versus Parramatta. Sam, who you got in this one and by how much?
Yeah, I'll go Penrith by 1-12, mate. Nothing in it, about 2 or 4 points.
What about you, ProEnzo Vidz?
Yeah, Panthers by about 8 points, I think.
I'm going to go Para by 10. Eels to win. No Nathan Cleary either, so Eels will win. Now, we're going to skip the Charity Shield and we're going to go back to that game very soon. The big one. One of the big ones. So it doesn't mean anything, but it's always good fun. 9 o'clock, Saturday night, BB Prince Stadium up there in, where's that, Mackay?
Yep.
Up in Mackay. It's the Cowboys and the Broncos in the trial game. 8 o'clock in Queensland, I believe. 9 o'clock down here in New South Wales. Cowboys and Broncos. Sam, Cowboys by how much?
Fuck oath, it's the big one, bro. Chad Townsend and Tom Dearden are the halves partners for Scott Drinkwater as 19th man, and Jermaine Tanua-Brown has jersey 8 because Jason Taumalolo has a hamstring strain, but he'll be right for round 1. Cowboys to win by field goal.
By a field goal, okay. What about you? ProEnzo Vidz? Who you got in this one?
Got to kind of spoil it, but I think Broncos win by about 4 points, unfortunately.
Shit.
Sorry.
This game doesn't mean anything to anyone, really. I'm going to go the Broncos by 24 points.
Oh, shit.
Yo.
Yeah, we're going to get flogged.
Okay.
We're going to lose. I hope we do lose because we always beat them in a trial game. I hope we lose. It'll be good for us to lose because every single time we play them in a trial game, we get hyped up after the game, and then we come to the season, and then we just suck. So, and I think we're a bit weaker at the moment than what we have been in, previous trial games. I think no Taumalolo is going to hurt. So I'm going Brisbane by 24. I reckon we're going to get smoked. Got a bad feeling. Now let's get to the other trial games. Now on Sunday afternoon, 5:45 at Mars Stadium. I mean, are we in space, boys? Where the fuck's Mars Stadium? I mean, where the fuck's this being played at? Anyone know where Mars Stadium is?
I think of chocolate when I think of Mars, mate. Down in Victoria, bro. Down in Victoria.
I'm thinking of the Galaxy Pluto and all these fucking places. Melbourne, fucking Mars Stadium. Melbourne and Newcastle. Who wins this one, fellas?
Melbourne, 13+.
All right, fascinating.
ProEnzo? Yeah, Melbourne to win by about 24.
Yeah, I'll go Melbourne by 6. I think it'll be tighter than we think. I'll go Melbourne by 6. And the last trial game, Monday night trial game at Shark Park there. Sharks, their first actual match there in a couple of years. Sharks and the Dogs. It's a trial game, means absolutely nothing to anyone. Who wins this one, fellas? Cronulla or Canterbury?
Cronulla, 1-12.
Yeah, Cronulla to win. Yep. 1-12.
Yeah, I'll go the Sharks by 2. Sharks by 2. I think it'll be a decent trial game. Should be very interesting to see how that game does go about on. Hang on, when is it? It's Monday night. Should be a good one. Now, let's get into the Super League, fellas. Some great. Actually, no, hang on. Before the Super League, Charity Shield.
Sorry.
Charity Shield. Now, I want to start by saying the Charity Shield has been around since 1982, fellas. It's more than a trial game. Both clubs want to win this. I'm telling you right now, everyone bags the fucking Charity Shield. Oh, it's a shit game. It doesn't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. The Charity Shield has been around since 1982. It has history. It has tradition. This is more than a trial game. This is a very, very big game on Saturday night. It's at 7 o'clock, live on Fox Sports and on KO. Well, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be a cracker Saturday night. I know the Rabbitohs have named their team. The Dragons, I don't think they've named their team yet. But, Sam, what do you think about this fixture? Who's going to win the game? And are you looking forward to the Charity Shield?
So I believe this game is being played out at Mudgee Stadium as well. And I think unless I'm incorrect in that he's not been named, this is the first time that George Burgess is going up against his old club, South Sydney Rabbitohs, man. Yeah. So for me, that's a big story arc in this contest, besides the fact that Latrell Mitchell is out with a hamstring complaint himself. And I like South Sydney to win by 1-12. Interesting.
What about you, ProEnzo Vidz? Who wins the Charity Shield on Saturday night, and by how much?
I'm going with an upset, actually. I think the Dragons will get up and win their first Charity Shield in about 7 or 6 years. That's the last time they won it.
2012 was the last time the Dragons won the Charity Shield.
Yeah, I think Dragons will get up, actually. I think they'll win by about 2 points. It'll be close.
Oh, this is so hard for me to tip because I look at the odds. The Rabbitohs are $1.30. The Dragons are at $3.30. It's at Mudgee. I know our good friend here, CJ Moxley, will be attending the Charity Shield, so looking forward to seeing him there. Hopefully he does a vlog or something. That'll be very entertaining. This is so hard to pick because I saw South's team and it's quality. Latrell's not playing, by the way, fellas. Latrell's out. I don't even know who's playing for the Dragons. I don't know. This is really hard for me to tip. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go the Dragons as well. Dragons, they need to win this. They haven't won the Charity Shield for a long time. Last year, South beat them by about 50. Walker had a hat-trick, I remember last year. Walker and Trell were able to do whatever they wanted. The Dragons need to break the hoodoo. 2012 was the last time the Dragons won the Charity Shield. I'm going to go the Dragons, and I'm going to go the Dragons. I'm going to go the Dragons by 8. Dragons by 8 on Saturday night. And I'm going to make another prediction while we're on here. Dragons by 8, but Keon Kalamatangi will score the first try of the game.
Nice.
That's what I reckon.
Nice.
I'm going to go with Keon Kalamatangi to score the first try of the game. Should be a great one. And anyone who likes to have a punt, like myself, Dragons, $3.30. Juicy odds. Very, very juicy odds. Looking forward to the Charity Shield. Should be an absolute cracker on Saturday night. Now, let's get into the round of Super League, fellas. Some great games this weekend for the Super League. Let's get into the round 3 preview. Now, first thing I want to ask you, Sam, mate, what's going on with Hull FC at the moment? The first 2 games, they've had a player bloody sent off. What's going on there?
Yeah, Brett Hodgson was a pretty mellow player, wasn't he? And I don't know, he's put some bloody adrenaline into their bloody bowls of water, haven't they, before each game? Yeah, Luke Gale, what are you doing, mate? It doesn't make any sense, man. You're trying to trap the ball with your foot, man. 8.5 times, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to come off for you. And whilst I back Hull FC, he deserves his lengthy suspension for putting the studs out and cutting up that young player for St. Helens, man.
Yeah, it was. I think it was on Johnny Lomax, I believe, where he kicked him.
Yeah.
What a mess! What a fucking mess that was. I find it funny how the first 2 rounds of the season, Hull FC lose their best player in Jake Connor, sent off, gets a 1-week suspension, comes back this weekend, and then in the second game of the season, their second best player, Luke Gale, gets sent off as well. Will someone for Hull FC get sent off this weekend? I guess we're going to find out when they take on my boys, Salford. So I'm looking forward to, which we'll get to in just a sec. But let's get to the first game of the round, which is on Friday morning, 7 a.m. kickoff New South Wales time. This game is on Fox Sports and on KO. It is Leeds versus Catalans at Headingley Stadium. Catalans are favourites here at $1.80. Leeds at $2. Catalans lost the first game against Saints. They just got over Wakefield last week. Leeds 0-2 to start the year. Big game on Friday morning. Going to be a really tight game, I reckon. I'll start with you first, Sam. Who wins this one and by how much?
I don't want to sound like I'm being influenced by rugby league history. If you don't know who he is, please go and check his channel out on YouTube. But he did put in front of me that Catalans are injury affected going into this game, and Leeds have been incredibly disappointing over the past fortnight, in particularly last week. And Leeds on paper, before the season kicked off, you would have said that they were grand final material. I'm going to get Leeds. I'm going to back Leeds to get their first win in the season against Catalans this weekend.
It's a big game for Leeds because if they lose this, they'll be 0-3. Now, I still think they are premiership contenders and grand final material, but you got to remember as well, this is the second game of the new house pairing of Austin and Caesar. And it will take them time to get going. Austin had a good game against Wigan last week, even though they got flogged. But this is going to be a tight one, I reckon. What about you, ProEnzo? Who wins this one and by how much?
Since Leeds are back at home and since, they probably want to sort of redeem themselves, I guess, in a way as well, I'll tip Leeds to win by about 8 points and they should get their first win of the year.
This is going to be tight. I'll tell you what, if this game was in France, I'd be tipping the Dragons. But I just think at home, Leeds are so desperate. They need to get a win. So I'm going to go Leeds by 4. And I'm going to go Cruz Leeming to score the first try. It's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I reckon Leeds get them in a really, really tight one. Now let's go to the next one, which is on Saturday morning. This game is kicking off at 7 a.m. New South Wales time. It's also on Fox League and on KO. 7 a.m. New South Wales time. It is Hull KR versus Castleford. Hull KR are $1.70 favourites. Castleford $2.15. This is a really hard one for me to pick. Both teams are 0-2 to start the year. I don't know which way to go here. I'll start with you, ProEnzo. Vidz. Who you got in this one? Hull KR or Castleford?
Yeah, it is tough because both teams have been very inconsistent. Both teams have been in a bit of a slump, I suppose. But I will back Hull KR to win just by about 6 points. But again, I'm not confident really, but I will back them to win.
This is a hard one to pick. I honestly reckon you could go get a $2 coin and flip it, and whatever it lands on is your tip. It could honestly go either way. Who wins this one? Sam, and by how much?
I can't back Castleford with their with that sort of defensive showing, man. I'm going to go Hull KR to win 1-12, man. And again, like ProEnzo Vidz, I'm not confident at all, man. This is definitely a flip of the coin, as you said.
Well, it is funny though because as bad as Castleford have been defending, they've scored more points than Hull KR to start the year, which is just crazy to think. And both teams are only scoring about 12 points a game to start the year, so it's a really hard game for me to go with. But I'm going to go with the Castleford Tigers. I've had enough of Hull KR. I backed them in round one. I got 5 out of 6, and I fucked me tips in round one for perfect round. Last week, all I needed was them to win for perfect round. They ruined it again. I'm not backing them again until they win a game, so I'm going the Castleford Tigers by 1-12. I'll go with Castleford by 2. Could go either way. I've got no confidence in either team. Like I said, it's literally a flip of the coin. Now let's get to the next game, which is also on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. at the same time. This game is not being televised. It's Wigan against Huddersfield. Both teams 2-0 to start the year. Wigan, obviously a bit more impressive. They beat Hull KR and Leeds to start the year. Huddersfield only beat Toulouse and Hull KR. This is going to be a tight game, I reckon. I reckon Huddersfield are definitely a big chance here. Wigan, Huddersfield. Wigan are favourites over $1.25. Huddersfield Giants, though, $4.10. Crazy odds for the Giants. But problem is, going to the DW Stadium is a very tough place to win. I'll start with you, Sam. Who wins this one between Wigan and Huddersfield?
Oh, man, that $4.10 mark nearly pushed me over the edge just then, mate, to tip Huddersfield, but I'm not going to. I think Wigan, besides St. Helens, have been the most impressive team to start off the Super League season. So I'm going to tip Wigan to win 13 plus, actually. Not something wild, just like a 14 or 16-point margin. I think it might get away from Huddersfield towards the end. What
about you, ProEnzo? Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, I think Wigan will be too good. I think I can just trust them a bit more. I was close to Huddersfield, but I just think Wigan are a bit better, and I think they will get the win by about 1-12 by about 8 points.
If this game was at the John Smith Stadium at Huddersfield, I would have went the Giants, to be honest. I really would have. But Wigan, their attack at the moment is lethal. Their defense has been outstanding. Jai Field is playing really well. He had a blinder last week, getting a hat trick. I think Wigan will win. I reckon Wigan will win by 12. I reckon it'll be tight for about 70 minutes now. I reckon Wigan might score a late one at the end there just to ice the game off. But I'm going to go Wigan by 12. I expect a really tight game. And I'll tell you what, if the Huddersfield Giants win this, then I reckon they're a legit chance for the top 6 this year to make the finals. And if they win this, they might be the real deal. So good challenge for Huddersfield. So we'll see where they are after this result. But we're all going Wigan to win. Now, the next game, which might not be fun, but this game is also on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. This game is not being televised. Thank fuck. It is St. Helens against Wakefield. St. Helens are $1.04 favourites here. Wakefield at $9.30. It should be $130. It's at Saints' home ground there. Good at the totally wicked stadium. I'm just going to ask you boys, pretty simple, pretty quick question here. Saints by how much?
1,562. No, I'm joking. I think they'll win by about 30 points.
It's not going to be pretty. Who wins this one, Sam?
St. Helens will hit the half century against Wakefield.
Oh, 50.
Yep.
Yes.
The only thing I will say about Wakefield is they've been competitive the first 2 games. They were good against Hull FC. They were very gutsy against Catalans. Saints at home. Saints by at least 40. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Saints by a lot. Now, let's get to my favourite game of the round. I cannot wait for this one. This is going to be an absolute cracker. This game is on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. It is Hull FC versus Salford. It's the black and whites, Hull FC against Salford. Hull FC, $1.55 favourite. Salford, $2.50. Hull FC without Luke Gale, but they welcome back Jake Connor. Salford 2-0 to start the year. They beat Castleford and Toulouse, 2 teams you don't really want to brag about beating too much. This is a good challenge for Salford. Hull FC have got a few drummers at the moment. Salford's confidence is very, very high at the moment. This is going to be a really, really tight game. But I'll start with you first, ProEnzo. Salford or Hull FC or Salford? Who you got?
Yeah, I found this tough because both teams have sort of been going a bit, not similar, but both teams have sort of been, Hull have been up and down, and Salford have been going pretty well, but they've been beating not great sides, to be honest. But still, I think Salford have a lot of momentum. I think the momentum's going to carry them to a win, so I'll back Salford by about 6 points.
Love it, ProEnzo. And Sam, I know you're a passionate Hull FC fan. I hope you lose this weekend, but how much are you tipping Hull FC by?
Isn't it funny, man? Like, this must be the first time you and I have ever gone head-to-head, like, as far as backing teams, because we both go for the Cowboys. So stick that up, you bastard. No, Hull FC.
I was waiting for the response, you son of a bitch.
You sanctimonious son of a bitch. No, Hull FC. I'm going to back Hull FC, but if I was a neutral fan, man, holy shit, man, Salford at $2.50. I thought this game would have been at least like $1.80 to $2, man. But those are great odds for Salford, man, just quietly.
I honestly thought Salford would be favourites going in. They've been better than Hull FC to start the year. But I'm going to go Salford by 7. I reckon it'll be a 6-point game. There'll be about 4 or 5 minutes to go. And I reckon Mark Sneed, the former Hull FC halfback, I reckon he'll kick a field goal to seal it. Salford by 7. Cansio to get a double. I reckon he's been in great form, Cansio. He'll score a double. But how much do you reckon Hull will win by? Sam, how much you reckon? Give us an exact margin.
They'd win by that. Yeah, they'd win by about 4 points if they win this one.
It'd be tight, and fuck me, man. Hull FC without their halfback, Josh Reynolds will have to go to the halves now with Jake Connor, I'm guessing, and Jamie Shaw will probably stay at fullback. So yeah, they've got a few dramas there. Josh Reynolds, the halfback, to control his hand. I'm not really a fan of that, but. What did you
say in the green room yesterday? More problems than what? What have they got more problems than the FBI?
Who?
Or something like Hull FC. They got more problems than the
Hull
FBI.
FC. Mate, they've got more issues than the fucking FBI do, bro. Like, bro, Hull FC have got more issues than the fucking Centrelink lineup at the fucking when you go to Centrelink. You know, you walk into a fucking hospital and you need to go and sitting in the waiting room there, mate. Hull FC are just like the hospital waiting rooms. They're a fucking mess. Salford will win. If Salford don't win, then that's just fucked. I'll be fuming.
Nick will unleash.
Mate, I'll be fucking. I won't be happy if we get beat. I'll be fucking fuming. But come on, Salford. Let's get the job done over the black and whites, and then hopefully after the game, I'll come on here and do a live stream on the. I'll do a review on the game, and then I'll say, Sam Revill, what was the name of the stick that up, you sanctimonious son of a bitch. Take that. All right, let's get to the final game, and I don't even know how long I'm going to spend on this, but I think we need to call an ambulance for the Toulouse and all their supporters. It's Sunday morning, 4 a.m. The game is not televised. Thank fuck. Toulouse and Warrington. Warrington are paying $1.01. They are paying $1 fucking dollar. Toulouse are paying $15. This is going to get very, very ugly. I'm going to start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz. Warrington by how much?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Warrington's win by about 34 points. Way too good.
Okay, interesting. Sam, Toulouse or Warrington?
The Wire to get up big time by about 34 points.
Mate, I reckon half-time, Warrington will be up 34-0. Full-time, Warrington will win this game 66-0.
Oh, dear.
This is going to get very, very ugly. And I'm going to go a bit wild. I'm going to go Ben Curry, the Warrington back rower, to get a hat-trick.
Has he been in good form, bro?
Yeah, he's been okay. I think he needs to get more ball, obviously. But when you're playing with Gareth Widdop or George Williams, you're going to get plenty of chances to score a try. And Toulouse's defense on the weekend was just dreadful. And I think Warrington's right-hand side of the field is going to be very lethal. So anyone having a bet, I'd be backing the Warrington right-hand side of the field to score tries because they're going to have a field day down that side. But in saying that, the left-hand side is just as lethal. So Warrington to win 66 points to 0. Ben Curry hat-trick. And I think at the Toulouse home ground there in France, I reckon I should have a paramedic and a fucking ambulance less than 100 meters from each Toulouse supporter. They will not be in a good state after this. This will get ugly. Dude,
can I just ask a question without notice, if I may? And Lorenzo, help out if you can, dude. When was the last time Huddersfield, they seem pretty switched on this season. When was the last time Huddersfield made the top 6?
Oh, a couple of years ago now. I can have a look if you like, but it would have been a few years ago now.
So it's not like a West Tigers thing sort of thing where it's been a decade?
No. I don't think so.
I think it was 2015, 2016, I think, one of those years, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, so it's still a little while.
Yeah.
Bear with me. I'll just have a quick look while I'm on it. I'll go on to the Wikipedia.
The reason why I'm asking, before the Super League kicked off, Nick, yourself, Lorenzo, CJ, you all really said that Huddersfield have gone out and made some really good signings. And yeah, Huddersfield have beaten some lesser teams, man, but they seem to be really impressing a whole lot of people, man. I'm just asking, because I know that they've been in the doldrums for a couple of seasons there. If this actually might be the year where they make the top 6.
Yeah, I guess for a while now, they have been a bit, I guess bad because of their squad they've had and haven't really had the proper sort of team to go to the top 6 or become more, competitive. But this year they've recruited better, and I think, this is why they're going well so far because of that.
Yeah.
Bear with me, lads. So the Giants, their last appearance in the finals. Bear with me. I'll just keep having a look here. But they do have a good squad, man. Chris McQueen last week, he was outstanding. I'm so filthy at myself. We were doing our private Instagram call at fucking 1 a.m. because the game was at 2 a.m. And I said on the call, Chris McQueen will be the first try scorer for the Giants. And he was. He was paying $31. I threw a fucking dollar on it. I should have threw 10 on it. I'm still filthy at myself. But hey, I won $1,300 before I came on there, so I'm not complaining now. But still fuming about that. In the chat, 2012 apparently was their last finals appearance. So that's a fucking long time.
Oh, so it has been a West Tigers sort of deal then.
Wow. It's been a while. But yeah, it's been a while since 2013 said CJ. So it was one of those 2 years. So it's been a while. I don't have them making the finals, but you just never know, do you?
If they win this weekend, man, that's a huge step in the right direction, isn't it?
They're going to miss Danny Levi too. He's been suspended for a week, so they're going to miss him. He's been great for them to start the year. But overall, it's going to be a great round of Super League. But Sam, ProEnzo Vidz, thank you so much for a fantastic Rugby League Breakdown podcast. Episode 38. It was very controversial at the start. We had people in the chat going off at each other. A lot of chaos at the start. But the show has sort of smoothed into a very good REVILL as the show's gone on. Sam, ProEnzo, mate, thanks for another great night on the podcast.
Thank you very much, mate. Look forward to next week already, man.
Mate, it's going to be a great week next week. And, mate, I just want you guys all to know, I'm going to announce this right now while I've got the chance. I'm going to announce it right now. Next Tuesday night will be the Nick from Australia 2022 NRL predictions.
Let's go.
March 1st, next week, will be the Nick from Australia 2022 season predictions. And also, fellas, next Wednesday will be the Rugby Breakdown Podcast, episode 39. It will be the 2022 predictions edition. So it'll be a full podcast. We'll be doing all our predictions. All the trials will be done by Monday. So by Tuesday, Wednesday, we also have our predictions ready to go. It's going to be huge. Absolutely huge. So get ready. Next week, next Tuesday, we got 6 days to go. It's going to be a fucking phenomenal night. But everyone, go and subscribe to Sam REVILL and ProEnzo Vidz if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. We're getting out of here. Have a phenomenal Wednesday night. We will see you guys in the next one. I'll be back again tomorrow night for another video as usual, live stream video, whatever. Until then, stay safe. Have a good one. See you all in the next one.